Welcome to Change. I'm Bonnie Carlin from the cafe at the barn in Schaumburg, and I'm happy to be here with you. Today we're going to be talking about gardening and things that we can do to make it easier for us. And I have a great panel today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Fran Rogus. I'm a member of the barn, and this is...
And hello everyone, my name is Marina Lvovich and I am the Senior Services Coordinator for the Village of Schaumburg Senior Program.
Great, thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting us.
You know, we're in the midst of summer right now, and everybody's out and about in their gardens working on you know, the fruits and the vegetables and everything, the flowers that they've planted. But as we age, it gets harder and harder to do gardening. So I was wondering if you have any tips for gardeners who are older that could help them in doing this.
Pre-planning, that's always important. The right tools, making things as simple as possible. And at the barn, we've been blessed by large containers that are taller so that we don't have to kneel or bend.
Okay, and I know for myself, I just bought one of those lightweight hoses that, you know, crinkle up, and it must weigh at least maybe 2 pounds or something. It's so lightweight. When you turn it on, it expands and everything, and then, you know, now I don't have to drag my 20-pound hoses out. It's great.
And that's an effort. It really is.
Do you have anything to add, Marina?
Well, you know, as Fran just mentioned, I think that over at the barn, we do have convenient things that we have kind of designed in order to help our senior population still be able to participate in the planting process. And we do have those large bins where you don't have to bend over, but I would advise for those that are wanting to do planting in their own home to consider the safety measures and be careful about bending over, where they're going, and as Fran mentioned, pre-planning, making sure you have all of the supplies at hand and ready, and if there's any kind of emergency, to seek proper care for yourself, because we do have that a lot where there's frequent injuries that occur while someone is out in the garden. And drink lots of water. It's hot out there.
That's a good suggestion,
Very
too.
good suggestion.
Yeah. What about weeding? I know that's always a problem.
With my sense of humor, I'd say get somebody else to do it. However, it would pay to have a rain or water the ground a few days before, saturate it so it's easier to pull the weeds.
Well, that sounds good too. I know that I planted tulips earlier in my yard. Somebody had given me a pot, and the next day when I came out, some of them were dug up. You know, the animals get at them sometimes. Is there anything you can do to prevent that? Or
mothballs is one. The other thing is cayenne pepper. Sprinkle it profusely. They can taste it and they won't go back to it.
Well, that just might work. When you plant flowers or vegetables, is there something you can do to help them take and excel in growth?
Miracle Grow is really great. Don't overdo it because it'll burn out the roots. But you know, about every 2 weeks, a diluted amount, and it helps.
Okay. What about like tomato plants or peppers? Do you put anything in there?
Well, what I do, my secret ingredient is banana peels under the tomato plants when I'm planting them for potassium. And under pepper plants, I put matches. I don't smoke any longer, so the matches go to some good, and that's sulfur.
Sulfur, and that helps the plant grow.
It really loves it.
Oh, that's a good trick. And about how often do you water?
I check with the rain system. It's wise to water in the morning early, so it doesn't burn the leaves. But as the ground gets drier, it's a guesswork, but you water it in between. You don't want to wait till the ground is cracked.
Yeah. Some people delayed planting this year because of the harsh winter we had.
Yes.
Did that affect you at all? Or?
Oh, yes. Many of my plants had shrubs and such got burnt and from the cold.
Yeah.
And everybody has lost some. But we delayed it 2 weeks because we didn't know the unpredictability of the weather.
But boy, did we have rain.
Yes.
Talk about not needing to water as much as you did in the previous years. We have had, Mother Nature has really provided a lot of water for our plants.
Definitely, definitely.
And we've had some people going out into the garden picking them. What type of plants do we have there in the garden?
Oh, we have quite the variety of things that we have growing in the garden. We have tomatoes, we have cucumbers, we have squash, we have banana peppers, and a whole bunch of herbs that I have to wrap my tongue around saying. But it's very plentiful, and as you said, due to the weather that we've been having, it affected, you know, every one of us. But we planted enough to cover our ourselves, to make sure that we had enough of a supply and a big harvest to supply for all of our fresh bars to come into August and September. So
it's great. So, and as far as the volunteers that come in and they do the...
We are blessed to have wonderful volunteers over at the Schaumburg Barn Senior Center that have been in all aspects of the planting process, from planting the seeds to watering to weeding to thinning. Boy, I've become quite the gardener these days.
Yeah.
And now with the harvesting, I think that's the best part of planning. It's the harvesting, is seeing all the wonderful things that that you have made happen, that you have helped in the process of growing. And we're always looking for more volunteers. So if you know anybody, or if you yourself would like to come, and like we had mentioned previously, we have these tall bins where if you're worried about bending over or anything like that, that you can come over and assist us in the harvesting process.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a little while, but we're going to have to cut to break right now. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Welcome back. We're talking about gardening today, and our intergenerational garden over at the barn in Schaumburg. Fran, do you know why they call it the intergenerational?
Well, it's, in my case, for the seniors and for the teenagers, and we do very well together.
And where are the teenagers?
They're in the lower level of the barn. They have their own facility. We have the first floor, and we get together once a year, enjoying an evening together, and we work in the garden together.
Oh.
They do the lower work. It's a very hard work.
And you also belong to a garden club, don't you?
Yes, I do, and we meet 10 months of the year, and we learn a great deal. One of the things is you can do things in containers, large containers, and you can put plastic bottles, just crush them and put them in the bottom of the container to make it lighter, using less soil and creating drainage. You can also use broken bricks or stones.
That's good.
The critters don't seem to eat the food in the containers.
Really?
Where they will on the
them.
ground.
Ah, very clever. It's sort of like the ones we have in our garden, right?
Absolutely. And, you know, I think that there's nothing better than to go out in the garden and see two different generations, the seniors and the teens, working side by side together for a common goal. These gardens not only benefit us in the planting and working together, but they offer such a bountiful amount of fresh veggies and herbs and some fruits such as strawberries to the seniors that come in every week for our wonderful salad bars. Can't stress that enough.
And these are organic?
These are organic.
So nothing is used like chemicals or
no
pesticides?
chemicals are used. It's a funny story. The first time I came in to the garden, I thought I had two black thumbs. But John from Public Works, who's in charge of planting and getting all the materials ready for the garden, said, just follow me and everything will work out well. And you know, before you know it, once we get the planting process going, within just a week or two, you already see everything sprouting and everything growing, and it is quite a sight.
Well, I understand that the soil is very, very good, too.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Well, maybe we can talk a little bit about flowers and things. Do you plant flowers around your house?
Yes, and in my case, because I do not have a great deal of garden to put my plants in, I mix my plants, the tomatoes, the peppers, etc., intertwined with the flowers, and they're very happy together.
Wow,
they're all green.
They have a good relationship.
Oh, yes,
they
they
have
do.
a wonderful relationship, and I get the benefit of the fresh vegetables.
Do you plant from seed or do you use seedlings?
In March, around the 15th of March, I will plant tomato seeds and such. And I call it Fran's Garden or Fran's Farm inside the house. And then I'm very happy to get it out and plant it.
And you put it out.
And it's an enrichment of, it's like your baby's growing up.
No. What about
Lots of
herbs?
babies.
What about herbs?
Yes, I put them in a large pot.
Oh, you did?
And they did wonderfully. They're very happy.
Yeah, we have herbs too, don't we, at the...
Quite a few. I think we actually have 2 bins full of different types of herbs. I know we have parsley and we have mint. That smells delicious. Ready for some mint tea,
Oh,
anybody?
yes.
And a few more if you
3
can.
kinds of oregano.
What about basil?
Basil.
Basil,
Profuse.
purple basil.
Oh, my
And
Haven't
green.
seen. And green.
Yeah, and really in turmeric, we have many things that are growing profusely, beautifully.
That's great. That is great. You know, I saw something when I was driving by about a month ago. A lady was digging holes in her lawn, you know, and placing flower pots into the lawn.
Oh, yes.
So, you know, I had never seen that before, you know.
It's done at a lot of botanical gardens. It's so much easier to put the whole pot in the ground, and then in the fall you pick up that one and put in the mums or whatever you choose to put in there.
So it sounds like an easy way to switch out plants and everything
and it
as
keeps
you
it
go
healthy.
along. That's great.
And especially when you have weather as we are having here in Chicago where it's hot and cold, you could always save your plants by taking it indoors. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and you had talked about another way to save plants if it got cold, right?
Yes, you can put plastic bags over it. Actually, if you have old sheets and you have a lot of garden area, you can put that to cover it.
Or if you put the pots right in the ground,
Yes.
that would be the easy way of picking them up and bringing them in. With vegetables that have vines, what's the best way to handle those so they're not laying on the ground?
Well, you have your containers that are for tomatoes. They're called baskets. Trellises, wooden stakes if they're tall enough.
Yeah.
Whatever is convenient. It doesn't have to be costly.
And what do you use to tie them on so they don't...
Well, I'm a yarn enthusiast. So that women's stockings can be cut into strips.
Or sometimes rags can be cut into strips and used.
Very inexpensive.
Just to hold them up so they
make them
and
happy.
when I notice the tomatoes, they get really tall, even taller than the cages or whatever. Are you supposed to pinch those back?
You can, but it won't do any harm to let them grow.
Even if they come over the edge?
No problem.
Oh, that's good.
No problem.
Yeah. So, is there anything you could do to help the plant produce more, say, on the tomatoes?
In that case, yes, you do pinch back the suckers. And they're long branches that have nothing on them but leaves.
Oh.
There you can differentiate between those. And
what about the ones at the base? Do you often clear the base?
Yes, I pinch those back.
And that would help, like, produce more vegetables?
It gives more to the tomatoes.
Yeah. So, Marina, have you done much gardening before you came to the barn?
Believe it or not really. But boy, have I been learning the ropes of gardening, and I have enjoyed sharing all my learnings with all the wonderful seniors such as Fran, who have immense experience in the gardening world, as I will call it.
Yes, and then Pat, too. I know she helped you plant the garden originally with Fran. You know, I saw some footage of that. That was great. Wonderful. But anyway, we're going to break right now, and we'll be back in a few minutes. So stay tuned. Welcome back. We're talking about gardening and our salad bar, our garden, our volunteers that work there. And I'm really proud of it. You've done a great job. You know, everybody has worked together to get this going. And Marina, you were out early this morning harvesting, weren't you?
Absolutely. And I actually brought you some of the things that we have in our garden. I have here a bell pepper, and we also have some banana peppers that kind of look like jalapeno peppers that everyone thinks, but they're as sweet as can be. And we also have some tomatoes and baby tomatoes growing, and some smaller peppers, as you can see. Oops, I have a rolling tomato. And some very funny looking cucumbers. But they're quite delicious. Yes. And as Bonnie was saying, we really rely on our wonderful senior volunteers to come out early in the morning to the garden. We pick the vegetables, we bring it in, and then it goes through a nice washing and sanitizing process so we can get it ready. And then we have the volunteers sit down and they help us chop all the veggies into beautiful little pieces that we later put on our salad bars.
And they're very fresh because they've come right from the garden.
The flavor is wonderful.
It's much different. Remember, we had a bake-off at one time, and it was from the garden. We had zucchini, an overabundance.
An overabundance of zucchini, yes.
Yes, and then they were giving them out to seniors who decided they were going to try their skills at baking.
Oh, yeah.
And there were so many different ways that the zucchini was used, you know.
How fun.
We had zucchini bread, and we had cookies and all sorts of cakes and things like that. And the nice thing about it is we could use it as a fundraiser, you know, to raise money for the barn and, you know, pay for some parties and things like that for the seniors.
Absolutely.
It was really nice.
Absolutely.
But anyway,
it's good companionship.
And I think too, working in the garden keeps the seniors active, you know. And there's nothing like being outside in the fresh air and doing, you know, the chores out there that sort of perk you up.
You know, there's many seniors that do not do any gardening in their own home, perhaps due to a variety of reasons, yet they come to the barn and they partake in our garden because of the raised bins and the fact that it is a lot easier and more available to come to the garden over at the barn.
Absolutely. In fact, I think we have some footage of the garden.
Oh.
I think we should take a look.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Welcome to our garden.
Here we are again in our intergenerational garden. Last month, the seniors participated in planting all of the things necessary for our wonderful salad bars that we serve at the Schaumburg barn. In a minute, the seniors will introduce themselves and show you some of the wonderful things that we have in our garden.
Hi, I'm Anna Mae Smith from Schaumburg. This is our pepper garden, and we have delicious peppers that we feature in our $3.25 lunch every day.
I am Carrie from Schaumburg, and this is the strawberry that was planted. The seniors did this, and we welcome you to our garden.
These are our tomatoes, a delicious part of our fresh bar, and they're homegrown, as you can well see, and taken care of very good by our attendants.
My name's Pat Mantra. I'm part of the barn, but I'm the new kid on the block. I've only been coming for about 8 months. I love it. We have fresh herbs, we have lettuce, we have basil in here, we have parsley, mint, we have radishes. We have wonderful things growing in here, and we use them all.
As you can see, a lot of the fresh produce and vegetables that we have on our salad bar comes directly from our intergenerational garden. A lot of the seniors helped in the planting process and also help in the harvesting process as well. They come over to the garden, they pick up all of the ready-to-eat veggies, bring it inside, we properly wash them, and then it is chopping time. We chop it all up, and it's ready to serve on the fresh bar itself. Thank you for joining us today at our intergenerational garden, and we'll see you all next time at our fresh bars. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
I hope everybody enjoyed seeing segments of the barn, the salad bar, and the garden. So, Marina, how many salad bars do we have at the barn?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. We have anywhere from 1 to 2 salad bars a week, and that is highly enjoyed by the seniors, and that is seen by the level of participants we have on those days. I know sometimes it's hard to go out to the store, purchase all these veggies, cut them up, and you get to have organic vegetables and fruits over at the barn for our fresh bars.
Very delicious.
Yes, and not even to speak about the expense. If you bought all those vegetables, they would be
True.
You know, very costly. And here you get it all. Plus, you have more than just the veggies for the salad bar, correct?
Absolutely. For the salad bars, we have half a sandwich usually, and a soup, and of course milk and everything that you choose. And I believe that our portions are plentiful for a lunch.
Well, I know a lot of the seniors will eat some of it and take the rest home for dinner.
Absolutely.
Which is great.
I've done it.
You've done it.
Yes.
But anyway, if anybody's interested in volunteering or coming to eat, do you want to let them know how they can do that?
Sure. Please contact me over at the Schaumburg Barn Senior Center at 847-524-7496, and I will be happy to answer any questions and let you know of any available opportunities to volunteer. And if you ever want to come in for lunch, we could talk about it, and we welcome everybody to come try these wonderful veggies that are coming from our garden.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Well, we've been talking about gardening and an invitation for you all to come in. So I think we'll leave it there, and we'll see you next time.